with an essay question that has to do with our communication topic, sort of, and starts at the very beginning of the book, where in the foreword, you thank your editor, Neil Belton. You said, for suggesting that the next book you write should be about everything, that you should write about everything. And that quickly put me in mind of that deer in the headlight look that sixth graders get when you ask them to write an essay on what I did during my summer vacation. And the question is, when you're setting out to write about everything, which is the way it seems to them, how do you go about that? Where do you start? What do you do? How do you find some place to hold on for the ride?
Well, that's exactly the problem that I had. My editor, I've got this fantastic editor called Neil Belton. He actually writes novels himself. He wrote a novel about Owen Schrödinger, actually, about his love life during the war in Dublin. And Neil said to me over lunch one day, the thing that you do is that you kind of communicate complex physics to anyone. Why don't you use that skill to communicate everything to anyone? And I was completely daunted. I thought, as you just said, where would you possibly start? And I put him off for about 2 years. And I wrote lots of outlines, which I threw away because I couldn't figure out how would you organize this material. But in the meantime, I was lucky enough to do an iPad app called Solar System for iPad. And what actually happened there was I had to write 120 stories on planets and moons and asteroids and all that kind of stuff in 9 weeks. And so there was absolutely all you could do was just jump in, write about things that you knew about, and while you were writing about them, think in the back of your head about what you should be doing next, what you should be researching next. So after putting Neil off for about 2 years, I thought, well, I'll just dive in. I'll start writing about some things that I know nothing about. So, of course, I rang Joanne to ask about cell biology because I don't know anything about cell biology. So if she critiques my book, she's critiquing herself because actually...
I really liked that book.
I picked her brains.
We had a nice long conversation.
Yeah, so I thought I'd start off with things like money, which, finance, which I didn't know anything about at all. And I would ring economists and try and pick their brains and do things like the brain, evolution, these kind of things. I found it very, very hard, but also exhilarating. It was hard because when I do physics, I identify someone, I phone them up, and I've probably got a 95% chance that they will answer my questions, or at least have a go. With many of these other people, they were speaking a completely different language to me, and I'd often have to go to 2, 3, 4 people before I could find someone who could, who could talk to me in a language I could understand, a toddler language.
Well, that's where is it? So in the back of your book somewhere, you list all the people you contacted. And I recognize a lot of the names because they are really good at what they do. And so including, we've got Adam Rutherford and Carl Zimmer, Brian May, how fun is that? Simon Singh, Stuart Clark. These are names I know. And I'm not reading all of them. I'm just reading ones that hopefully the audience will recognize. But definitely, I'm looking at this list going, oh, I know, alum. You've really contacted a lot of people to get. Ooh, Manjeet! Wow, I'm here reading this list, all excited here. I'm in good company. Yes, my name is there. I underlined
I also picked people like Ha-Jun Chang, who's an economist at Cambridge. He wrote, I think, 23 things they don't tell you about capitalism. Paleoanthropologists, all kinds of people. But as you say, Brian May, in fact, did help me because he did a PhD in astrophysics. And I was talking to him about something, and about the electric force. And so he, in an email, he gave me the title of one of my chapters, which was my chapter on electricity. Now, what was it called? I can't remember. Thank goodness opposites attract. Yeah. So he did contribute something. Yeah. And sometimes people contribute. They're encouraging, and that's very helpful too.